Hello everyone and welcome back. Hope things are well. Good afternoon and welcome. Eddie Howe has conducted his press conference this morning where Newcastle already match week 5 of the season. We are starting to feel a bit of pressure in terms of injuries and especially that main spot striker. We are facing, I wouldn't say a crisis because I think Newcastle has dodged a major bullet with Isak, but it's most definitely a sign of concern when Newcastle do need to be fully aware that once Isak picks up that injury, we are screwed. So let's just start off with the obvious point. How long is Isak out for? Now, it's been reported this morning by the likes of Craig Corp that he's injured his toe. He is a doubt for Fulham, but that's it. It's just a doubt for Fulham. So your impression would be that probably not Wimbledon, but Man City the week afterwards, the game where you would expect Isak to be back in if he doesn't get any game time against Fulham. Maybe even possibly may just sit on the bench against Fulham. Like, he'll probably be there at least if Eddie Howe desperately needs him. But for me, don't aggregate it. We all know with Newcastle, especially with James Blunt coming on, our new medical staff, he's going to be there to ensure Eddie Howe and everyone at the football club is fully aware whether we should risk Isak or not. And so far, been doing alright with injuries. Of course, Miley picked up a freak one. Bottom was from last season, but Newcastle so far have been able to avoid that curse we almost have. I think it's probably the best way to put it as football club. However, we must know the obvious point that Wilson is a liability. We know he's a liability. Usura clearly isn't ready to play in the Premier League yet, hence why Eddie Howe hasn't done so. So if Isak gets injured, which he has in this case, we are in trouble. We're going to probably start Gordon. I would have fought against Fulham. We'll have Barnes on the left and Murphy on the right. It should work well enough in that fixture, but Man City next week is a fixture where we need everyone playing, so that's one where we can't mess around too much in. Wimbledon's a nice little cup fixture during the week where, with all due respect to Wimbledon, no matter who we put out, we should be winning. But, I will say, you look at yesterday, Coventry had Tottenham beat. Tottenham have been able to just about squirm the way out of a massive cup defeat, but Newcastle have got to make sure we don't do that because we need a cup win this season. I've said it before, it's crucial that we do that. But we stay at the obvious point now that I think Newcastle now looks so much better with James Brunt in, our new medical staff. You've seen like Joe Witt just come back straight away from injury, so to see Newcastle where they are now, we look alright with injuries, so it looks like we might have got that crisis from last season out of the way. I know we're playing less matches, you're going to get less injuries regardless. But just in terms of actually getting players back and making sure that injuries are diagnosed properly. We had a horrible one at bottom last season. You played 2 extra games with a torn ACL. I mean, how have we allowed that to happen? And because of something like that, and that means that Newcastle will pick up more injuries. So James Brunt so far has done a spot-on job, and he'll make sure that Eddie Howe is fully aware whether we should be playing Isak in any capacity against Fulham. Wimbledon's a nice fixture during the week. I fully expect Usura to start in that game. Surely we are starting our young striker against Wimbledon. I thought he looked alright pre-season, looked lively, so I'm hoping he gets a chance to perform for Newcastle. I've seen some fans being a bit maybe negative towards the player, saying why do we sign him if we're not going to play him? But you got to remember Lewis Hall took a while for Lewis Hall to get into the team last season, so it's a slow process. If Usura's the real deal, you'll see him progress over the next few weeks. But Wimbledon's a big fixture for him. We've got to make sure we win because I thought Tottenham was super lucky to get past Coventry yesterday, so do not underestimate these smaller teams in the cup competitions, because going down to Wimbledon, we can't underestimate them, because if we do, we'll lose the game. So it's important for us just to make sure we're switched on. I'm sure that Eddie Howe will pick a good enough team to get past them. And speaking of young strikers, Newcastle United are linked to the next Erling Haaland. 18-year-old Norway striker, can play across the entire front three. He's already scored 3 goals in 8 matches this season in the Norway League, and I'm not going to lie, I've never watched this kid before in my life. I'm already excited about the prospect of bringing in anyone that's going to be next Erling Haaland, but those expectations are unrealistic. We just have to assess him now as a striker. You can play across the entire front three. That's a major coup for Newcastle to bring in our youngsters. If he's someone that progressively over the next couple of years can actually get amongst the first team, you've got a bargain there. You've got an absolute steal of a player. So it's important for Newcastle where you have an opportunity available to bring in a young talent like Sindre here. Massive for us. and we can't underestimate the talent of our youngsters, because Lewis Maddie came onto the scene last season. The likes of Trevor and Sanusi, you've seen in pre-season. I think a lot of Newcastle fans have a lot of hype surrounding him. Next, St Maximin, I think there's a comparison Newcastle fans made the way he progresses in play. But if Newcastle can get a couple of youngsters that can progress into the first team, it completely saves your FFP. And in worst case scenario, if Newcastle want to sell those players, it brings profit into the football club, which then means that Newcastle have a lot of money to spend. So you do not want to underestimate these youngsters, and Newcastle can get a deal done for someone who is proclaimed to be the next Erling Haaland. Listen, I don't even need to watch the kid play, just get him in straight away, because you compare anyone to a guy like Haaland, you know he's going to be good. But just to wrap things up before we finish off, I want to talk about Amanda Stevie a little bit, actually, because it's been reported yesterday that her PCP Capitals, her old company that she actually used to come into Newcastle United, it's been bankrupt. So I think that's probably given a major indication of why herself and Murder had left in the summer. I know there's been some reports on social media where they said that like Downey was weren't happy with his position at the club. He felt like Amanda and Murder were just in his way, where he wasn't able to do his entire job with those two being there. But the reality is, I made it clear when I first made those videos a few months back, but they just don't have any money. They don't have that much money anymore. The only money that they would have actually will be whatever they sold the shares to the player. The reality is they've lost a major court case to a Greek tycoon company. They've been like this for a good few years now. Also, Amanda's got some own health issues of her own, so it just wasn't sustainable to keep her Murdered on long term, as much as I like to say otherwise, because they did do such a good job. But it is what it is. So I thought I'll update you anyway, because there has been a bit of information come out about that. But that's about it for me. Of course, overnight stay vlogs will be back once again. We are travelling to London tomorrow, down there for 5 days, so we're there for both of the matches, Fulham and Wimbledon, which is quite handy. I think in an ideal scenario, I would have loved Wimbledon to be yesterday, so I could have stayed down Wolves, Wimbledon and Fulham same week, but still not bad. Still to come back home just after the Wimbledon game, so it's all good. Hope you guys enjoy the content, plenty of vlogs coming out, and I hope we have a couple of good results. I'm a bit nervous for Fulham, but if we can get past them and then beat Wimbledon, my word, we will look good. We will look so good going into this season. We'll look phenomenal. So hopefully get past Wimbledon, get a nice cup draw, that's important as well, and hopefully we beat Fulham. But that's it for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think about everything that's been happening in the press conference today? A few bits of positive information, but Isak's the big one. A doubt for Fulham, but we didn't look too bad.